Hey Lions Nation, we're back with another exclusive video bringing you all the latest news about our beloved Detroit Lions. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything about the team. Now let's get into the news. Being a lifelong Detroit Lions fan is something special, but imagine stepping onto the same field as the team you've admired since childhood. For many, that would already be a dream come true. Yet for Jack Campbell, it goes far beyond just wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. The moment he set foot on that practice field, surrounded by the players, the coaches, and the roar of a franchise with one of the most passionate fan bases in the league, he wasn't just fulfilling a dream. He was living out what he calls the honor of a lifetime. But what truly sets him apart is what happened next, a gesture that shows the kind of person he is beyond football. During a recent event, a representative of the armed forces stood before the team, recognizing one of their own, not for a touchdown, not for a game-winning tackle, but for something far greater. He spoke about Jack Campbell, not as a linebacker, but as a man who gives his time, his energy, and his heart to support those who serve the country. The soldier described how rare it is to find someone who, so early in his professional career, already embodies the spirit of service and gratitude. Campbell didn't have to be asked twice to get involved. As soon as he had the opportunity, he stepped up, talking directly with soldiers from the Michigan National Guard stationed in Syria. Think about that, a young athlete, freshly drafted, still adjusting to life in the NFL, taking time to reach out to men and women thousands of miles away, just to remind them that they're seen, appreciated, and never forgotten. The soldier presenting the recognition had brought a small gift, something symbolic but deeply meaningful, a challenge coin, an emblem used in the military to signify respect, brotherhood, and accomplishment. He handed it to Jack with a sense of pride that words can barely describe. Along with it came a personal letter, handwritten, expressing appreciation for everything Campbell has done to support military members. He didn't read the entire note out loud, but he mentioned that it spoke about Jack's commitment, his character, and how much it means to see an athlete use his platform for something bigger than himself. Jack stood there humbly, listening, his expression revealing both surprise and gratitude. It was clear that this wasn't something done for attention or recognition. This was about connection, about using football as a bridge between communities that often don't cross paths. The bond between sports and the military has always been strong, but moments like this remind everyone watching that it's not just about ceremonies before kickoff or flags waved during anthems. It's about genuine relationships, mutual respect, and a shared understanding of sacrifice and teamwork. For Campbell, this kind of recognition means more than any highlight reel. His journey to the NFL wasn't built on flash or hype, but on discipline, humility, and purpose. From his college days, he was known for his leadership both on and off the field. Coaches described him as the type of player who studies harder than anyone else, who practices longer, and who never forgets where he came from. That mindset carried over into his professional career, where instead of getting caught up in the glamour, he focused on giving back. And for someone from Iowa who now represents Detroit, a city built on resilience and hard work, it couldn't be a better fit. When the soldier mentioned that Jack had already reached out to deployed troops just days after being drafted, you could feel the pride in the room. The Detroit Lions organization has always valued players who understand community impact, and Campbell has embraced that role completely. He's shown that leadership isn't just about wearing the captain's patch. It's about how you treat people when no one is watching. It's about remembering that being part of the NFL gives you a voice, one that can uplift others, especially those serving far from home. Moments like this also speak volumes about the Lions' culture. This isn't the same old Detroit team that the league once overlooked. It's a team built on values, unity, and purpose, and players like Jack Campbell are at the heart of that transformation. The recognition he received that day wasn't just for him. It was a reflection of what this organization stands for now. A group of players who fight for each other, who care about their fans, and who understand that their influence extends far beyond the end zones and sidelines. As the ceremony wrapped up, you could tell that everyone present felt the weight of what had just happened. The soldier offered his congratulations and wished Jack luck with the national selection process, hinting at even more recognition to come for his efforts. Campbell accepted the challenge coin, thanked him sincerely, and returned to practice, the same focused, driven player he's always been. But now, he carried something new in his pocket, a reminder that football, at its best, connects worlds. It brings together soldiers overseas, fans in the stands, and players on the field through shared values of courage, dedication, and service. For a lifelong fan-turned-player, being part of the Detroit Lions was already the dream. Yet now, Jack Campbell is living proof that the impact of that dream goes far beyond the game itself. It's about giving back, honoring others, and showing what it really means to represent a city and a cause bigger than any single player or moment. Before we move on, take a second to drop a like and subscribe. That way, you'll stay up to date with every exclusive Lions update, and you'll even have a chance to win an official Detroit Lions jersey. Let's keep going. Rumors are swirling around Detroit, and this one has the entire NFL world on edge. Sources close to the Lions organization are hinting at something massive, a reunion that would shake up the NFC North completely. Reports suggest that the Detroit Lions are finalizing a deal to bring back tight end T.J. HOCKENSON, the former first-round pick who once called Ford Field home. And if this move happens, Jared Goff might finally get the reliable, dynamic target he's been missing in the middle of the field. To understand the magnitude of this potential signing, you have to remember where it all started. HOCKENSON was drafted by the Lions in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, seen as a cornerstone piece of the team's future. His combination of size, athleticism, and hands made him one of the most complete tight ends to come out of college in years. But during the rebuild, Detroit made the controversial decision to trade him to the Minnesota Vikings, a move that sparked outrage among fans who believed he still had unfinished business in the Motor City. Now, just a few years later, the story might come full circle. Multiple insiders claim that Detroit's front office has been quietly working behind the scenes to make this happen, viewing HOCKENSON as the missing piece to elevate their offense from dangerous to elite. The Lions have built something special under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, a team that plays tough, smart, and united. But even with their offensive success, there's been one persistent weakness: a consistent, versatile tight end who can dominate between the hashes and serve as a safety valve for Jared Goff. That's exactly what T.J. HOCKENSON brings. Since leaving Detroit, he's developed into one of the most productive tight ends in football. In Minnesota, he became a go-to weapon, racking up receptions and proving his worth as both a blocker and receiver. His chemistry with Kirk Cousins was undeniable, and his ability to stretch defenses forced opponents to account for him on every snap. For Detroit, bringing him back wouldn't just be about nostalgia. It would be about taking their passing game to the next level. The timing of the rumor is what's fueling even more speculation. The Lions are sitting in prime position within the NFC, with one of the most balanced rosters in the league. Their offensive line is dominant. Their run game is explosive with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to rise as one of the best young wide receivers in football. But when defenses focus on containing St. Brown, Goff often has to rely on checkdowns or risky throws into tight coverage. Adding HOCKENSON back into the mix would give him a perfect intermediate option, a big, athletic target who can create separation and move the chains when it matters most. Insiders say the Lions front office has been monitoring HOCKENSON's situation closely, especially after reports surfaced about potential contract tensions in Minnesota. The Vikings have been struggling this season, and with their focus shifting toward rebuilding, they might be more open to moving key players for future draft capital. That's where Detroit could strike. A trade or a surprise free agency move could happen sooner than expected, and if it does, the Lions' offense would instantly become one of the most complete in the NFL. It's also worth noting the emotional side of this potential reunion. HOCKENSON left Detroit on good terms, and even after his trade, he spoke highly of the city, the fans, and the organization. His connection with players like Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown never really faded, and those relationships could play a big role in luring him back. Goff, in particular, has always thrived when paired with an elite tight end. His best seasons in Los Angeles came when he had reliable middle-of-the-field targets like Tyler Higbee, and HOCKENSON's return could replicate that success in Detroit's evolving offensive scheme. Dan Campbell, a former tight end himself, has always emphasized the importance of that position in his offense. He wants physicality, versatility, and intelligence, and Hawkinson checks all three boxes. Imagine Campbell drawing up plays that use Hawkinson not just as a blocker or route runner, but as a mismatch weapon against linebackers and safeties. With offensive coordinator Ben Johnson designing some of the most creative game plans in the league, Hawkinson could thrive in ways he never fully did during his first stint with the Lions. If the rumor becomes reality, this move could also send a strong message to the rest of the NFL. The Lions are done being the underdogs. They're building for a Super Bowl run. They're no longer the team that rebuilds year after year. They're the team that reloads. Bringing back Hawkinson would signal that Detroit isn't just trying to compete. They're aiming to dominate. It would give Jared Goff everything he needs to succeed: protection, balance, and a full arsenal of weapons capable of breaking down any defense in the league. Of course, there are financial details that would have to be worked out. Hawkinson signed a massive extension with Minnesota, making him one of the highest-paid tight ends in the league. But Detroit's front office has been strategic with contracts, and they have enough flexibility to make the numbers work if they truly believe he's the missing link. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen a front office find creative ways to bring home a difference-maker. Fans across Detroit have already started buzzing online. Social media is filled with hopeful posts, mock graphics of Hawkinson back in Honolulu blue, and debates about what his return would mean for the team's chemistry. For many supporters, it would be a symbolic moment, a sign that the Lions have evolved from the days when they let top talent slip away. It would show growth, ambition, and maybe even redemption for a franchise that's finally earning respect around the league. For Jared Goff, this could be career-defining. He's already silenced critics who doubted his ability to lead Detroit, but with Hawkinson back, he'd have one of the most balanced defensive cores in football. St. Brown on the inside, Jameson Williams stretching the field deep, Gibbs attacking from the backfield, and Hawkinson commanding attention up the seam. That's an offense built to win playoff games. It's built to control the tempo, to adapt, and to wear defenses down. So is it happening? Officially, nothing has been confirmed yet. But when so many reliable voices start whispering the same thing, it's hard not to pay attention. The connection between Hawkinson and the Lions makes too much sense, both emotionally and strategically. If the deal gets finalized, it wouldn't just be another transaction. It would be a statement. The Detroit Lions, once written off as a rebuilding project, are turning into a powerhouse. And if T.J. Hawkinson walks back through those doors, Jared Goff won't just have a target. He'll have a weapon, a trusted ally, and maybe the final piece in Detroit's rise to the top of the NFC. The city's ready. The fans are ready. And if the rumors are true, the Lions might just be ready to roar louder than ever. We bring you the latest Lions news every single day. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And of course, drop a comment below with your thoughts on today's news. Your voice makes a difference for Lions Nation. See you in the next video.